Okay, for those of you who need help with today's assignment, I'm going to do a few of these questions for you, with you, so that you get some help. Okay, so number one, first we're looking for opposites. So when I look at the two equations, I look for the same thing, just one being positive and one being negative. So I see. Okay, so I see that the y's are opposites. I'm going to cross them out. This is a 1x, so 1x and 3x makes 4x, and 3 plus 1 equals 4. So I divide both sides by 4, and x equals 1. I'm not done there, though. I need to find the y value. So I'm going to take one of the original equations. I'm going to take the bottom one. It doesn't matter if you take the bottom or the top. And instead of the x, I'm going to take this right here and I'm going to plug in for x. I'm going to plug in 1. So I'm going to do 3 times 1 plus y equals 1. 3 times 1 is 3. And then to solve, I subtract 3 from both sides, and y equals -2. So I need to write my answer as a point. So you have to remember that when we write it as a coordinate, x comes first and then y. So it's going to say x and then y. X we found was 1 and y was -2. So you're going to go down to the bottom of your sheet or the second page. Actually, I should take a look. Here it is. And we got 1, -2, which happens to be this one right here. So we are going to say answer was 1. Okay, let's look at the next one. I'm going to go across, so I'm going to go to number 7. Now, number 7, we almost have opposites, but we need one of the numbers to be negative and one of them to be positive. So I could make this 2 a negative, which means I have to make everything else a different sign in that equation. So 5 became positive. So now I have opposites. So these cross out, and I have -1 plus 6, which is 5, or 6 minus 1, and I have 50 plus 5, which is 55. I divide both sides by 5, and I get 11. Okay, I found my y value, so now I need to find my x. So I'm going to take the top equation because it's smaller, and instead of the y right here, I'm going to plug in the 11 that I just found. Plus 11 equals -5. Minus 11 on both sides. So 2x equals -16. Divide by 2. X equals -8. So I have to write my answer like a point. So -8 has to come first because it's my x. So it's -8 and 11. So I'm going to look down at the bottom for that answer. And I see it, it's letter H, and I'm going to mark this 7, because question number 7 was what we just did. Okay, moving on. Looking back at number 2, the 4 y's are almost opposites, but just like the last one of them needs to be negative. So I'm going to make everything on the top equation negative. So this is going to say -3 plus 2, which is -1x. The 4's cancel out. 8 minus 2 is 6, and I'm going to divide by -1, so x equals -6. Okay, so you are going to take one of the equations. This time I'm going to use the bottom one because everything on the bottom one is positive. And instead of the x right here, I'm going to plug in -6. So -12 plus 4y equals 8. Add 12 to both sides. 4y equals 20. And I divide by 4. Y equals 5. So my answer, -6 needs to come first. So it's going to say -6, comma, 5. Okay, so I'm going to go down to the bottom, and I'm going to look for that answer. There it is. It's letter E. I'm going to put a number 2. That's ugly. Sorry. Okay, last one, number 8. We have opposites. So we're going to cross them out. The 4's cancel. 8 and 2 makes 10. 20 take away 30 is negative 10. I know you guys get confused whether that's a minus 30 or a negative 30. It's both. So however you want to look at it, it's 20 take away 30, or it's 20 plus negative 30. Divide by 10. Y equals negative 1. Okay, I'm going to use the top one again because the top one has all positives. And I'm going to plug in negative 1 for my y. So 8 times negative 1 is negative 8, or you can treat that as a minus 8. So the opposite would be to plus 8 on both sides. So this is 4x equals 28. Divide by 4. X equals 7. So my answer here is going to be 7 and negative 1. So I'm going to go down to the bottom. I'm going to find my answer. 7, negative 1 is right here, and I'm going to mark it 8. You're going to keep on going. They're all just like this. If you get the wrong answer and you don't find it at the bottom, you can ask the substitute. If Mr. Dunlap's in the room, you